Be fine, I feel just like a shot creator, made a Glock, don't play loud. Keep this levy on, so I might bail out at a stop sign. Police get behind me like a deadbeat pops, it ain't mine.
Yo, Rello Mellow Garden, and we're back here, start of a new video. What are we on? Our second week of flower now. I believe we are on day 10 of flower here. And we don't have the greatest start to the week. As y'all can see here, this is my taken apart humidifier. I think maybe some overflow or something happened that allowed a bunch of water to get on these electronics. And I think she might be fried. I'm not handy with no electronic repairs. I don't even know why I took it apart, to be honest. But I am going to stick this little power cord back down in there, plug it up one more time, and I guess we'll see if it explodes. But unfortunate, probably another 20 bucks or so to replace it. We'll get another one eventually. I don't think it's going to hurt us too much with flowering. Might as well get down there and look at those girls. Alrighty, y'all see that bad girl? Big tent things going on. Go ahead and crack her open. I was down here a little earlier. I gave them some water. I forgot to refill our little bucket over here. It's full now, but it probably was maybe a little under halfway full, so I might hit them with one more shot of water later on today. I think it should only take maybe 4 to 7 hours for the enough amount of chlorine and whatnot to bubble out of these. So it'll probably be ready to use later today. If not, they got a little bit, so they'll be good till tomorrow. Back on over here. It is looking pretty amazing in here. Now y'all can see, since I don't have my humidifier, our humidity actually is pretty much still within the same range that I need it in, just because we have so much vegetative growth in here and the big pots staying moist. But if we look at that temperature, I would prefer these to still be in the 80s. Once the buds start coming in, so probably sometime around day 21, I'll drop the temps into the 70s. But we prefer these to be in the 80s. We turned the lights up. So if this is on 100, this is on 100. This one is like on 80, 90%. So that's making it a lot hotter in here. And we would be running our exhaust fan right here, which would shoot this down into the 70s probably. But it also is going to tank our humidity down into like the 40s, I believe. So it's probably going to be a little hot for them in here. It's not going to kill them. During this stretch phase, it is like a rapid vegetative growth phase, so it ain't going to be the worst thing, but I would prefer to be able to turn the fan on to bring down the temps, but we don't want to kill the humidity. I think having the humidity at a proper state is a little more important than this getting a little hotter than I'd like. 95 is kind of crazy, but 90 ain't going to hurt. Anyways, not really too much to go over. This stretch phase is kind of simple. They are just kind of going to be doing their thing, continuing to stretch up. The only thing we really got to come in and do is bend over these branches when we see fit. With them coming up close to this second net, we're kind of more focused on getting them trained, or at least the taller branches, through the second net here. They are getting fairly close to these lights, so we're doing our best to manage that. Who knows how it's going to end up. Some of them might end up hitting the light. We still have like at least until day 21 before these stop stretching. We're only on day 10 here, so at least 11 more days worth of stretching out they're going to do. So, yeah. It'd definitely be interesting to see where they end up height-wise. Other than that, it is looking pretty good in here. Nice and full. Real stuff. Yeah, I can see just how full this tent is. got this little viewpoint here. All we see is bud sites coming on out of there. That is what we like to see. But yeah, really not too much to go over today. So other than that, that is gonna do it for us here on day 11 of flower. Yo, motherfuckers. And we back on another day. What are we on? We are now on day 12 of flower. About to go ahead, the usual. pH this water. I'm gonna water them. Haven't hit them today. As y'all know, I'm doing everyday watering. Just gonna be a few of these that we drop in, or a couple. Needs about 2 worth of these. Other than that, come in here. I think it has been about, now since we're on day 12, it's been about a week since we fed some of this Espoma tomato, and says repeat every 2 to 4 weeks. Honestly, I don't even know how much of it I'm gonna use with these plants. I might use just a little bit more, maybe. It does seem the girls have been fairly happy with the one feeding they got. But like I told y'all, we probably gonna transition to this soon enough. I'll have to think about it a little bit. All right, y'all, we here with the 16 ounces. You know, we split 3 of these through the top, then we'll throw 1 in the bottom. 48 ounces of water total I'm using. Like we was talking about with the tomato, liquid tomato fertilizer, used it on day 5. So 2 weeks from then, the minimum it gives to reuse it would be day 19, which would be near the end of week 3 of flower. 21 days would be 3 total weeks. So day 21 will be the start of week 4. So, like I was saying earlier, maybe last video, I forget, but once they get to around the 4th week of flower, bud production really starts to kick in. Weeks 4 through 6 are the most important for bud production. So, since I think I want those higher, I mean, I guess I could maybe do a heavier feeding, but I think since we want those higher phosphorus and potassium, we're going to switch to the More Bloom. So we're probably only going to get 1 use out of that liquid Espoma for these girls. Anyways, we look at these plants today here, day 12. They are looking pretty good. Got some fairly thick stems on them. Real nice. Especially this one. Definitely the best I've done with bag seeds for sure. I'm sure we're gonna do great once we get those other plants into the tent. I think I might show y'all those a little bit. But y'all see, I kind of already came through today and did some tucking. We got plenty of stuff up here on the 2nd trellis. And it looks like we have almost pretty much through this 1st trellis. It's gonna be hard to kind of show it, but just about, it looks like we do have 1 bud site at least through each square. So that is a pretty good sign of us doing some proper trellis work with them, and that we'll hopefully get a pretty nice yield out of here. I'd say 8 ounces is about, I'd give that like it's like a B grow for me out of a 2x4. It's a pretty good grow. If we can hit 10 ounces out of here, I say that's like a A+ grow out of here. Anything more, that's like a S tier grow out of a 2x4. Not that those metrics matter too much. Yield ain't everything, but you know, you're gonna spend months growing it. An ounce ain't really the most desirable thing to pull out of here. But not too much to go over. Like I said, stretch period is kind of straightforward. Water them. They gonna keep stretching up to this light. Come in, bend them, tuck them as best as you can. And yeah. And since we did, for the most part, again, you can see some gaps, but I assume, yeah, we could almost fill those if we wanted to. But yeah, since we did get that first net pretty filled, I think we are gonna have a lot of sites that it might seem crazy to get rid of. Like if we look at how large this branching got, but we are probably gonna snip this off when we come in and do the big defoliation around day 21. Some of these here, although I don't think this is one that's gonna make it, but something like this is probably gonna, as these continue to stretch, get close enough to the net. If it's like an inch or two away, we'll leave them. But anything more than 2 inches away from this first trellis, probably gonna get chopped off. I think, yeah, this one, it would really suck to cut it, chop it, real long, nice branch, but it's way below the net right now. Barely can get them both in the frame. So it'll be something we continue to monitor and think about as we go on, but that's all we got today. And we out, day 20. And we back, folks. Another day, another day. Got my little syringe or dropper here. You see it's about where I'll fill it up. When our little water bucket here is full, I'll use 2 worth of these. Right now it ain't, so I'm gonna just drop 1 in here and get this pH in line. Got a pretty good idea where this is gonna take it from using this little more bloom right here so much to do our pH down. Grab a little spoon, a decent stir, and it's been about a week since we hit them with some good old molasses, our plants, so get a nice cup full, and we're gonna go ahead and crack this Granny's open. Alrighty, y'all, do some of this good old Granny's molasses in there. Y'all know I don't really be measuring this stuff out no more, but if you want that measurement, it's about a tablespoon to do. We come on to the tent. It is hot in here. Pretty soon we gonna start running our little exhaust fan. Go ahead and split this between. Probably gonna come in and do 1 more molasses feeding to them. That one I'm not satisfied with. And as y'all know, since we're doing dry amendment, a lot of dry amended nutrients in there, the molasses helps provide sugars to microbes, which everything we use is going to come with microbes as far as the organic nutrients. So it feeds them, helps them increase in population, and helps break down those dry amendments. Y'all can see those temps are way too high. Probably gonna have to figure something out there. But now we have officially completed 2 full weeks of flower. Today is, I believe, Wednesday. That puts us on day 14. As y'all can see, these have stretched up quite a bit. That's all the distance that we got from the light over there. That's probably a few inches, maybe 6 at max. It's a little bit better on this side of the canopy, but we're just gonna have to continue to work with it. Coming in kind of aggressively bending these. I'll kind of see if we can get that leaf out the way. Kind of squeeze them between my fingers like this. You kind of see how that's twirling around. Try to really force it down. But of course, when you kind of aggressively bend it like this, it's going to reinforce that space, which is going to make them a little tougher, which ultimately makes them harder to continue to bend this way, but we got to go for it. All right, before I come in and start bending these over, I think I kind of showed y'all the process of how I'm working them. Go ahead and hit them again with another molasses cup of water. Split between them, so that's about 16 ounces, maybe around 2-3 tablespoons worth of molasses for both of these right now. Of course, I'm gonna come in and top them off a little bit more with some regular water. We're still utilizing our bottom watering, so the bottom of this pot is probably nice and filled with roots surrounding it. Might even, if we were to lift this up, we might even see a little bit of roots poking through the bottom of these here fabric pots. But for the most part, a short little update. We can finally see some pistils starting to cluster up in there. Now that we're entering week 3 of flower, by the end of this week, we'll really see flowers starting to form. Alrighty, so as y'all can see, I've come in and rebent some of these plants. Again, this is at least a once a day thing, more so twice for me. Because like I've already been telling y'all, we was gonna struggle with these heights getting close to the light. Because I don't know if I had to, but I felt like I had to at the moment, kinda over veg these plants. Maybe some newer growers might struggle with thinking you have to veg them as long as possible and get them super big, but really there's a cutoff height because you're confined by the space of your tent. So I know generally when my plants reach 16 to 17 inches, assuming they're decent stretchers, it's time to flip to flower. However, since the goal was to originally run 4 plants in 3-gallon pots in here to fill it up, I figured I was gonna have to wait a little longer to get these 2 to the, well, really this one was probably ready to go. We have to wait on her a little bit. So we kind of over vegged in here. So that's why things are getting so close to the light. And as y'all see, these lights are on these little wires. I even have them knotted up because it makes the wire a little shorter. I might come in here and add second knots to these just to help these lights hang a little higher, but there's pretty much nothing I can really do with this setup to get them up any higher other than mess with the wires. Same with all this. Other than that, that's why I more so work with trying to keep my plants in height, but I think we'll still turn out fine. One of the metrics to use with flowering once you harvest and dry, trim it up, weigh it, is to hopefully get 1 gram per watt of lighting used. We're using around 280 right now. I don't know if I want to turn this one all the way up just because of how tall this side of the canopy is. So we'll be hoping to get around 280-ish grams out of this. And if we can pull even more, if we can go over 1 watt per, or 1 gram per watt, then that is like an excellent grow. And as y'all can see, down in here, we gonna have quite the work to do in about a week's time, day 21. We're gonna come in, trim off a bunch of those big leaves so all the bud sites are as exposed to light as they can be. But we got about a week till we're gonna do that because they're gonna stay in this vegetative stretch state. Having worked with these genetics, although they're not the exact thing I worked with because these are bag seeds, everything's kind of all crossed up. But generally, having worked with these, they stretched well into the 3rd week, which we are now in. Sometime around day 21, 28-ish, they'll be done. Buds will probably add on a little bit more height as they develop. And that'll be about it for the stretch. But yeah, we closing out week 2 of the grow here, or a flower. And as y'all know, if you like this video at all, found it helpful, go ahead and tap that like button and subscribe, hit the bell, turn notifications on, stay up to date with everything we got going on the channel as I continue to flush out my process and grow the channel. We're gonna have a whole bunch of stuff going on, of course, We got our little girls there that'll be outside. Probably wait until May, but that's coming up around the corner. We'll be having new tents come in here. I want to try to fill out a 4x4, of course, the same way we've pretty much filled out this 2x4. And hopefully it'll be double the yields. If we consistently pull around half a pound to 10 ounces out of here, we should be able to pull over a pound out of a 4x4 fairly easy. So lots of big stuff coming up on the channel. Shout out to everybody that's been rocking with me. Almost at 500 subs at the time of recording, and another installment in Rello Mellow Garden. Don't forget to check out Mellow Rello Grows, my second channel, and I'm out.